Subscribing to The Observer on YouTube couldn't be easier, and we're going to show you exactly how to do that. First, navigate to www.youtube.com/theobservernj. Once you get there, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button. Next to the subscribe button, click the down arrow and then all. And that's it. You're subscribed, and now anytime The Observer is live, you will be notified. Hi again, everybody. It's Kevin Canessa coming to you live from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com on this, the 27th day of January in the year 2026. Happy birthday, Sean McDonald. Happy 51st birthday. I hope you have many, many more to go. Of course, Sean, one of my dearest friends, celebrating his birthday today, but we are here for a different purpose this week, even though we will go over the news, and that is to talk to my dear friend Tony Mondaro about the storm that just passed us. Tony, what on earth happened this weekend? What a weekend storm, huh?
Yeah, anywhere from 9 to 12 inches around the area. Here at Harrison, we had 10 with some sleet. You had near 12 in North Arlington, and reported around 9 inches in the Lyndhurst Rutherford area. I think that might have been a little bit higher. But I'll tell you something, the lead's not going to be the snow, it's going to be the cold. Coming up in the next couple of days, our good friends at the National Weather Service has issued a cold weather advisory, which simply means it's going to get cold enough where it could be life-threatening, with high temperatures in the teens and 20s for the rest of the week, and overnight low temperatures beginning tonight around 10. And as we get deeper into the week, we're going to see temperatures possibly without the wind chill from 0 to 5 degrees above. And with the wind chill, some wind chills could exceed 10 to 15 below with the wind chill.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but I don't remember the last time I heard you say that the temperature might be 0. I've heard you say the wind chill could be 0, but 0 degrees, that is almost frightening, to the point where I don't know if I'd even want to go out in that, right?
Yeah, it's going to be horrible out there. Those of us have pets, please be careful with them. Not only with the extreme cold, but with the salt on their paw pads. Make sure they're cleaned up, and try to shelter the outside animals as well too, if you can. Have maybe a little place where they can go and get some relief from this heat.
Man.
Or from this cold, rather.
Cold, yeah. Well, I wish it was heat, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's bad enough, Kev, at the beginning of the broadcast, you caught me taking a brief nap.
That's because I was late. Let's let everybody know I was late. I was finishing up an important phone call, and I apologize for being late, but I did not mean to catch you off guard there. First thing I said before I said hello was, wake up.
Wake up, Tony.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me this. In addition to this bitter cold, are we possibly looking at another system developing where we could see more precipitation this coming weekend? Please say no.
I'll tell you, Kev, not aggravates, but makes extra work is when media and social media go out. They take any snowstorm that they can find on the map and stick it up within the next 7 to 14 days. And people like myself need to clean it up. Now, we look at about 14 different computer models here at the Weather Center. Yesterday, 2 of them were showing some accumulating snow. How much? An inch. That's it. 2 of the computer models. Today, they're about the same 2 computer models. Now, there's a reason why, Kevin, on this broadcast that we have with our lovely subscribers and viewers, that we don't show the computer models like the TV. I'm going to tell you why we don't do that. Okay. Each computer model, no matter what it is, has a bias to it. It would take a whole program to explain the bias of one computer model. That's what they don't tell you. They stick it up on TV and they just go with it. Now, this system for the weekend is an ocean storm that some of the computer models say hugs the coast. The 2, for those or weather geeks out there like myself who follow it, is the GFS, the Global Forecast System, and the Canadian Gem. They're the two. About 2 days ago, the European model was on for a significant snow. That's when the media went nuts, just posting that. Now, if you notice, some are starting to backpedal now because that storm seems to be offshore. Now, remember, we're doing this broadcast on a Tuesday,
Right.
so we have many days that could adjust. It could either be further out to sea or closer inshore. But right now, I wouldn't say you have to go and sell out the ShopRite again and the grocery stores. Just pay attention to the local weather report, no matter who you genuflect to with that weather, be Tony from Harrison Weather, or the people on social media, or the National Weather Service. Stick to one source, because if you have several, or as my friend Joe Chaffee would say, forecast shop, you're going to drive yourself nuts.
Yeah, let me just put it bluntly. If you're watching channel 2, 4, 5, or 11 for your weather, be prepared to be stunned and shocked. I mean, they were talking about like 24 inches in Northwest Jersey. It didn't come close to 24 inches at all. And I'm frankly getting tired of seeing it on TV to the point where I just turned it off last week because it was driving me insane. Because one minute you hear, we might get 6 inches from these TV people, then you might get 2 feet from another person. I don't understand why they do that, Tony. Is it just the shock value? What the hell is it?
They want viewership. So if they say big snowstorm coming up this weekend, details at 11, a lot of people are going to stay up till 11 and watch their favorite weather forecaster. And to be honest with you, since we're talking about the media, there's really only a couple of them out there worth their salt on there now, which is Jeff Smith over on Channel 7 and Nick Gregory on Channel 5. They're the only two. And they do the weather themselves. A lot of these other people have producers that produce the weather for them. I did that for a few years in County News Watch 8 down Tom's River with I produced for a great gentleman, guy by the name of Bill Mullen. We had a good
Yeah,
time.
I think we saw a picture of Bill at one point in one of our previous broadcasts. But
Absolutely.
you correct me if I'm wrong too. But a lot of these guys aren't even meteorologists, right? They don't have what's it AWS that you see when it's a real meteorologist or some kind of symbol or wording to determine whether it's an actual meteorologist. Talk about that a little bit, would you?
Yeah, it's the AMS. We're members of that as an associate member. And truth be told, I am not a certified degreed meteorologist. Even the people I consult with know that when we sign up. I am a weather forecaster. I am trained. Have training through the National Weather Service and also through FEMA. I've taken a lot of classes. Probably with my expertise, and it's crazy, is hurricane forecasting and planning. That's where I have my expertise. And when I was associated with Hudson County Emergency Management, that was one of my leads there is to monitor the weather for them, and help write the hurricane plans with Jim Woods when he was the coordinator of emergency management. And you know how the winds change, and I got outsourced to somebody that's not even from Hudson County. We went over that the other day, and to me
Yeah.
that puzzles me. You have somebody, you know, uh, with the equipment we have back here, and we're bleeding money. You would think that the county would spend their money here at the weather center, helping to support us, like our local towns.
While we're on that, just remind everybody, in case they weren't here with us on Saturday, how they can support the Harrison Weather Center.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. Just go to our GoFundMe page. There's a GoFundMe page. Just do a Google search; it'll come right up. Even if you can spare $1, something that would help us. And thanks to you, Kevin, and the viewers and subscribers. We've had some people, donate to us, and we really appreciate that. It's about keeping the lights on here and getting the forecast right. Remember,
Yeah.
what we said on Saturday was almost pinpoint spot on, and that's what we try. When if I ever come here waving my hands, counting my fingers, and screaming, um, a storm is coming. I never really hype a storm. And even like with this thing on Sunday, I was saying people today on my Facebook page, don't bet the house on this thing on Sunday or Monday coming in here, but you may be looking for another place to live early next week.
Mm. If you're just joining us, Tony Mondaro, he of the Harrison Weather Center, is with us today. The cold that you talked about, I am not a scientist myself, and I was never much into science, but when you're talking about temperatures of 0 to 5 degrees above zero Fahrenheit, what's the best advice you would give to people on going outside, how long you should stay outside, and preparations you should make before going outside?
First, you have to dress in layers. You have to bundle up and keep that short and sweet. You don't want to be out there for a long time because cold exposure or hypothermia is going to set in very rapidly on the exposed skin, especially when you have temperatures that are below zero. So just be very careful when you're out there over the next few days. This is not going away anytime soon. If anything, it's going to get a lot worse. And yeah, the National Weather Service has that cold weather advisory till tomorrow at 10 o'clock. But if I'm a betting guy, which I'm not, but if I was a betting guy, it's going to be extended.
Wow. Wow. Tony, tell us what else, anything else coming up in the next couple of days that we need to be aware of other than the extreme cold?
I just think everybody who wants to pay attention for this weekend, if a storm is coming or not, check back either here at the Harrison Weather Center on our Facebook page, or your favorite weather report, and just make sure that we're safe. I believe we will be. Especially the next couple of days, we'll be able to refine it a little bit more. We'll get more into like the short term computer models and everything like that. But everybody, be weather aware. Be weather aware. Be careful of the cold weather outside. Layer up, bundle up, and everything will be fine. And Kev, I have to say thank you to all and you did too, the wonderful job the DPWs are doing around our area to try to get rid of the snow.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. You sent me some video this morning. Let's put that on the screen right now, but just bear with me for 1 second as I get that up, okay? I want to make
Awesome.
sure we
Yeah.
can all be heard.
Yeah, no problem. This is Davis Avenue this morning at the intersection of Malone Place. At the same time, in the background there, you'll see St. Mike's EMS there, our Harrison EMS provider. They had an issue with somebody having chest pain trying to dig their car out in Malone Place. They were transported to a
God.
local hospital. And you see Harrison DPW Director John Starr operating the brand new payloader that the town has. This has got to be my favorite video right here as he's coming right past the Harrison Weather Center, removing the snow. So that was pretty cool. We have very nice equipment here as we're doing the rest of these towns around us. And Kevin, thanks for posting this. That's pretty cool stuff there.
Yeah, I never saw the sign either. I love the sign right there on
Mm-hmm.
Davis Avenue. I got to get over there. We've been talking about this forever,
Absolutely.
so it's going to be sooner than later. I promise you that. Anything else,
Absolutely.
Tony, before we wrap up here?
Kev, I need to catch up on my sleep. I think I might have 9 hours of sleep over the last 3 days. And I spent yesterday digging 3 vehicles out of the snow to make room for that,
Oh God.
Harrison DPW to come and remove that snow. And it did a great job. Not a flake of snow on the streets on Davis Avenue or Malone Place right now. And as always, Kevin, as I always preach,
I know what you're
please
going to say.
everybody like and subscribe. Because without liking and subscribing, you can't have Kevin and occasionally, me on there on the Observer Live. So, Kev, closing it out. Have a great show today. I'll be watching and waiting to see what you have in store for us today. Have a great afternoon.
I am so glad you were here today, Tony. Thank you for doing this, and hopefully we can do it again if we got anything more to do in the precipitation-wise in the next couple of days. I'll talk to you later, brother.
Looking forward to it. My pleasure.
There he is, the one and only Tony Mondaro, he of the Harrison Weather Center, doing a great job with his forecast. He always has done such great work. And I think I have to go back to what he just said again. He's never overhyped a storm. And that is kind of unfortunate that I don't understand why some of these TV people are constantly looking to make it seem like it's the end of the world as we know it. And Tony just doesn't do that. He just doesn't. And that's why he is the best at what he does in this realm. So, just a couple of things from this week's edition of the newspaper. We are happy to report that John Kelly, the mayor of Nutley, has returned from a 6-month deployment in Iraq. He has been over there and doing great work in Iraq, and he is probably easily the youngest mayor in the history of Nutley. But imagine that in the middle of being the mayor and running a town, you have to pack things up and go to Iraq. But fortunately, he is back, he is home, he is safe, and he's back in the mayor's chair in the township of Nutley. And we are just very, very grateful that he had a very, very safe deployment and made it home safely. And then, as you see at the top of this week's front page, we had a recap of the North Arlington reorganization meeting. When you talk about getting things done, the borough of North Arlington is exemplary. They truly are. Between Dan Pronti, the mayor, and all members of the council, 7 members of the council, including the mayor, who you can see right here on the screen, they are a force to be reckoned with. And one of the big projects that we should see in 2026 is senior/veteran housing, which may come to Kearney too, but North Arlington was way ahead of the curve, as the mayor had been dreaming about this for a long period of time, and it's finally coming to fruition. So Mayor Pronti, and to the members of the North Arlington Borough Council, thank you very much for your efforts and for all the things that you do for the borough. This was a story that we had online, but it's in the paper this week. The North Arlington Police Department made an arrest, and 5 people were taken in, and 3 illegal guns were found and hauled off the streets. So very, very good work done by the North Arlington Police Department. Check that out if you haven't read it yet online. And then, of course, there's the regular stuff. This bill here that we have on page number 4, you have to read if you have ever been the victim of domestic violence, or if you are a supporter of somebody or a family member of somebody who is the victim of domestic violence. A lot of times when women become victims to this, they wind up going into the criminal justice system in times and areas where they don't deserve to be. And because of this bill that Senator McKnight and Ruiz co-sponsored, that was signed into law on Governor Murphy's last day on the job, the penalties for women who have been incarcerated following domestic incidents where they are the victims will be adjusted accordingly. So read that story on page number 4. And, when I first read this, I wasn't 100% sure how I felt about it. I wasn't sure it was just going to be another type of bail reform. And we know how disastrous bail reform has been in the state of New Jersey. But this one is something special. And unfortunately, we know far too many people in our lives who have been and fallen victim to domestic violence. And I think this will be something that will bring more justice and more fairness to anybody who is suffering from domestic violence and then becomes part of the system. So check that out when you get a chance. I wrote my editorial this week because tomorrow, believe it or not, is the 40th anniversary of the Space Shuttle Challenger explosion. I can't believe that it's 40 years since this happened. And I still remember, there are moments in our lives that we always remember where we were when something like this happened. Like 9/11, everybody remembers what they were doing when it happened. And for me, this was the first time I had one of those I'll never forget moments. January 28th, 1986, I was in the 6th grade over at Schuyler School in Dolores Raimondo's class. And at the time, we were allowed to go home at lunchtime. And we didn't have, it wasn't that you had to sign out or anything like that. You just went. And I remember going home that day and turning on the TV, as I did every day when I came home, probably looking to watch something like on Channel 11, that syndicated programming or cartoons or something like Heathcliff or something like that. And there were special reports all over the place about the explosion of the Space Shuttle Challenger. And it was the first and only time in my K through 12 years that I did not go back to school. I basically cut, but I had permission from my mother to stay home and watch what was being talked about on the TV. I still can't get that picture out of my head when that capsule broke up. And, I don't know how much you have read about the Space Shuttle Challenger. There are some reports out there, including from WESH of Orlando, Florida, that suggests that after that explosion happened, and you remember if you were watching it or have ever seen it, how just violent that explosion was, that there are some reports out there that some of those astronauts did not die from the explosion, and some of them fell however far up it was only 73 seconds into the flight, but they may have been alive as they fell helplessly to the Atlantic Ocean. Could you imagine that? And that it wasn't the explosion that killed them. It was the impact with that fierce, fierce ocean that they fell into. And I just can't help but think about that. There were a couple of times, if you watch the old footage, where you see certain items plopping into the ocean. A few were parachutes, helped them to get into the ocean. And unfortunately, I don't think the crew cabin had any kind of parachutes that would have helped them. But God, that day, 40 years ago, somehow, still will always stick with me for the absolute rest of my life. And I wanted to honor the 7 astronauts who lost their lives that day, including teacher in space, Krista McAuliffe. The birthday boy, Sean McDonald, says, John Denver wrote the song Flying for Me in honor of Challenger and its astronauts. And Sean, you know how much I love John Denver, just as you do. I never knew that. I never did, but that is something else to know that John did that. Another person who died way too young in in a vehicle that flew. My God, just awful. Anyway, that's enough about the Space Shuttle Challenger. Jason Bernstein has 3 sports stories, as he does each and every week. And don't forget, once you get to the back of the book, 2 pages of classifieds. If you're looking for a place to rent and have $100,000 to spare, you can certainly find an apartment somewhere. And then, of course, if you're looking for a job or if you are looking for somebody to do some work around the house, you'll find that all in the back of the book this week in our classified section. And that is going to do it. But I do want to say hello to a bunch of people who I didn't get a chance to greet today. Sean, I don't know if you saw it, but earlier I wished Sean a very happy birthday. Sean McDonald's birthday today. Happy 51st to Sean. Now everybody knows how old you are. John Emilio is also here with us over in North Darlington. John, good to see you. Larry Hanlon every week is here with us. Bill Scarterfield, my dear friend out in Arizona, is doing very well and much better than we are when we're looking at 0-degree temperatures this week. It's good to see you, Billy. And then, of course, my birthday sister, Carol Manley, is with us. And I think that is everybody. And I'm so sorry if I missed anybody who is maybe lurking in the background. Oh, and Barbara Condon is here also. Barbara, good to see you. If it's cold here, I can't even imagine what it must be like up by you in New York. My goodness. My goodness. Stay warm and stay safe. Now, if there is anything weather-related in the rest of the week and Tony is able, we will join you live to bring you updates. It's too soon to think about this weekend and whatever you're reading in the newspapers or seeing on TV about the forecast. But when we get closer, we'll check in with Tony and see if there's anything that needs to be reported. And if there is, we will certainly do that for you. And then if not, we will be back a week from today with another edition of the Observer Live. Lisa wasn't feeling well today. She left us early today. She's at home. And I'm all by myself here in the office, so I hope nobody comes in to hold us up today. So, from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com, it's Kevin Canessa signing off for now, and we hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Take care. Bye-bye.